All right, welcome everybody. Welcome to the Women's Wellness Network. Today we have a lovely lady from New York. Not originally from New York, but she's a worldly woman, obviously. Guliko, welcome to the Women's Wellness Network. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much. Thank you for the lovely welcome, Tammy. I am doing well. Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Well, thank
How
you
are
for
you?
coming. It's really nice to have you. Okay, so why don't you tell the people where you are in the world and maybe just introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I'd be happy to. Hello, everyone. My name is Guliko Bliadze. I am an interpersonal relationships, personal development coach. I am originally from Georgia, the country. I immigrated to United States about 9 years ago. It's been a while. And I am located in New York at the moment, living with my lovely plants and husband. And yeah, that's in a nutshell.
That's wonderful. I've never had anybody introduce their plants. And they are lovely plants.
Thank you.
Also very healing and nurturing. Plants are really nice nature to have indoors, especially this time of year. My goodness, we're looking forward to spring coming. So yeah,
Yeah.
indoor plants is kind of keeps us connected a little bit, I think.
Oh, definitely. Yes. I find it pretty meditative to take care of them, and it just brings coziness and warmth in the home environment. So I really love them. They're all over my apartment.
Beautiful. That's so awesome. So you said you are an interpersonal coach. You help people develop their relationships with themselves. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. I came from a personal development approach, but my main focus has always been relationships, and it's a very broad term, but I think that we have relationships with everybody and everything around us, and I think that it is starts from within. And I found throughout my own journey, that's how I really found transformation and tangible changes that manifested in my life once I really looked into the relationship that I had with my own self and really getting to know myself and how I related to it and working on acceptance, forgiveness, self-care, self-respect. And eventually, I started relating to my environment, things, habits very differently. I brought more attention, more mindfulness, more respect in how I developed and manifested the relationships around me. And I do believe that it has such tremendous power to cultivate those relationships with and without. I do believe that I think Esther Perel talks about this a lot as a motto, that quality of our relationships determine the quality of our lives. It takes work, it takes courage, it takes support along the way, like everything meaningful in life. But I think that eventually it is totally worth it to work through it and yeah, change and take a power back on and I guess, create the life of your own choosing and design the life that is more aligned and more authentic and speaks to you.
So yeah, relationships are just everything. They're everywhere. They're with everyone, coworkers, family, partners, pets, plants, like all the things. But if we're not paying attention, we won't even notice that we're in them or how we're relating to other people. Was
Yeah.
there like some sort of Was there a catalyst for you that made you really want to do this work?
That's a great question. I think there was an accumulation of events, and then the catalyst, I would say, was me being aware of the pattern that was recurring in personal relationships. And I would be drawn to be more specific, I would be drawn to unavailable partners. And then I'd be try to prove myself in a relationship. But it was a lot of it was going on in my own head without even communication to the other people. So, and then I reached the point where it's like, well, what is going on if I want to create something meaningful? And I know that I want to create something meaningful because we are all relational creatures. I recognized that I needed help and support. And I started speaking with a therapist. And after I kind of got to know that internal world and conscious and subconscious patterns, I transitioned into coaching. And that was the moment where I could start implementing what I've learned. Coaching was really helpful in for me to apply the learnings in life. So yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. So you did your healing, you got some ideas about the whole situation, and then suddenly you're like, I can share this. I can help other people.
Yes, it was. Yes, that was exactly the moment. It was both my therapist and then my coach, where I've reached the point that I felt so right that I needed to give, I needed to expand, I needed to share with other people what was possible because of the shifts and transformation that occurred for me. And I was like, oh, everybody can do this. Everybody can do it. We don't have to live in those patterns that are familiar and sometimes even comfortable in their discomfort. There, it's still comfortable, but yeah, it all can be when we take power in our own hands. It's so beautiful what can occur from there.
Yes, and having somebody to help us see those things or know where to start. So if, for instance, if somebody was going to come to you at the beginning of their journey, what kind of things would you help them do?
I often find that people come in coaching. For instance, they want to create better boundaries, better communication, better structure of their day. And those are all very valuable and great things to have. But then essentially the work ends up being them changing the perspective of who they are and how they show up. I feel like, I guess to be a little bit more specific, what would be the work? Anybody who would like to work on their self-acceptance, confidence, lack of boundaries, worthiness, taking up space or finding your own voice. That was very big for me, and it still is. I'm still working on all of those things, by the way. It's not just, unfortunately, it's just not one and done. But all of those things to kind of find wholeness, authentic voice, and then courage to own your needs, your bones, your voice, and live from that place.
Well, that's yeah, it's kind of like you're like help them lay the foundation of who they are and what's outside of them, like taking ownership of the things that we can do ourselves and like, feeling confident and comfortable having communications with people. I
Yeah.
know a lot of people really suffer with that and keep it closed and don't put things out because they, ugh, somebody's going to say something bad about me or oh, I'm not saying the right thing or that kind of thing, right? Like people really have a hard time finding that first little thing to stand upon. And it sounds like you've been there, so you get that.
Yes, I am there even still a lot, but now I think that what's really powerful with the work that we do and like people like us do is that once you become aware of it, it gets easier to manage and handle and recognize and act differently than what automated system would let you do. Um, yeah, I have been there and it is yeah, it's an ongoing um journey of rewriting the patterns. And I think that this is especially true for women when it comes to speaking our mind and our needs, and what's especially true for women. And it's a pretty generalized statement, and I understand that not everybody falls into the categories, quite the opposite. But what I've found around me and what I'm hearing is generally women have these issues because it makes sense because of the way how we were brought up.
Most definitely, yeah, especially you mentioned boundaries and I know that's a big, that's a big it's a block, not just for ourselves on the inside, but to be able to have relationships and foster relationships in a healthy way instead of just allowing everything to come.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, have you noticed in the last little bit, like let's say since COVID, I know the world's kind of gone crazy since COVID. Are you finding more people are seeking out help and under like realizing that there's things that they can do for themselves?
I think so. I think so. I think the lockdown had that one, at least one positive side effect of giving people time and permission to slow down. And also, I think social media is helping more people speak up or at least see and resonate with certain I think that we as society have become a little bit more vocal about these things, and it's thankfully it's becoming a little bit more acceptable and okay, and to acknowledge and look inside and then own everything good and bad, and then show up and design the future accordingly.
I totally resonate with that. I asked about specifically about the COVID thing because for myself, I was going through a serious trauma at that time. And
Mm.
um, I spent a lot of time alone. And as most people did, right? We spend a lot of time, quarantined and in in fear in our homes and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, just the realizing that the relationship I had with myself was being pronounced because I wasn't getting all the other people's energy coming in. I was, more secluded and I was starting to really realize, oh, wait a second, I have these patterns and this is why I keep having these issues. I need to work on these things so I don't have this anymore. So yeah, I really resonate with that, you know, looking yourself in the mirror and seeing who you are and owning it all and allowing it to be because it's okay. We are who we are. And
Yeah.
great. And I think just having that, giving ourselves permission to be who we are and be okay with that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, especially as women, I think women have a lot more, we're always trying to not people please. I mean, a lot of people do that, but we're always trying to nurture and make things better and be helpful and create possibilities for other people. And yeah, it's really tough sometimes, I think, to um just see it and stop right there and do that little twist, that little flick that says, okay, I'm going to do this a different way. But sometimes that's really hard.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yes, I have experienced that. What you really put it very beautifully. But one thing I would add, I've noticed, and it really lines up with what you said, we are very accommodating. Um, and I've caught myself and oh, am I being overly accommodating or is this actually what I want right now? And it's sometimes really hard to discern because of what I'm used to and how I'm used to showing up. It almost is in conflict of my identity.
Right.
Um, and then it is a pretty interesting work to really be mindful of what is coming from that people pleasing or because I've been taught to do this, or what is coming from, oh, I actually would enjoy right now to serve you in some way, and that will be also satisfying for me.
Right. Well, I think that's kind of a bottom line, right? We need to realize that we are valuable and what we want matters. And yes, definitely we want to help people for sure. We want to um, provide different ways for people to connect and to feel comfortable and to feel good. But yeah, we got to do that for ourselves first. That's, otherwise it doesn't, what's that they say? You got to serve them from your overflow. So if you don't
Yes,
got it
yeah,
on the inside, right, you can't give it away if you don't have enough for yourself.
yeah, exactly. And it's a really beautiful place to give from. A lot of times I have noticed in the past also, I'm trying to be a little bit more mindful of that. I do, give. And then there's a slight bit of resentment that creeps in. I was like, oh, this is nobody's fault. This is my own doing. So there's that big part of taking also responsibility of your actions. And these things are easier to talk with. I understand that it takes a lot of work and courage. But in my opinion, it's well worth it.
I totally agree, 100%. It's totally worth it. It's totally worth it. And it takes a little discipline to be able to
Yeah.
keep yourself in that game, I think, which is
Oh,
sometimes
yes.
hard.
Yes.
It's hard, but it's worth it. It's totally worth it.
Yeah, but I think that that's also like groups such as yours and network and the support system is so important and the right support while you're walking that path.
Absolutely. Yes, for sure. So do you just do like in-person work or do you do online also?
I do mostly online, but yeah, in person as well.
Okay, so people are looking to connect with you. How would they do that? Where will they find you?
Yes, sure. So I have Instagram, Fortitude Coaching, which is number 4, Titude Coaching. There's the same email address, fortitudecoaching@gmail.com. They can reach me here on Facebook Messenger. Yeah, and LinkedIn. I'm Guliko Bliadze on LinkedIn. So those are some ways to reach me.
Okay, awesome. We'll put those in the comments. If your plants are any idea and your glowing self are any idea of the work that you do, yeah, people
Aw.
should be coming to you because your plants are,
Thank you
they look
so
so
much.
happy and healthy and you're radiating. So yeah, I think you're a testament to yourself. So thank you
Thank you
very
so
much.
much. I really appreciate it.
Yes, and thank you so much for coming on the Women's Wellness Network today. It was really lovely to have you. And Women's Wellness Network, if you would like to connect with Guliko, we'll have the information in the comments for you. And yeah, thank you so much for coming. It was lovely to have you.
Thank you, Tammy. I'm so grateful for this conversation and for the connection and the relationship that we're developing. I appreciate it.
Beautiful. Well, thank you. I appreciate it too. Have a lovely day, and everybody, until next time, be well.